Effective study methods. Before starting to learn Figma, there's something you need to understand. Knowing how new information gets firmly embedded in your brain will help you learn Figma faster. To put it simply, you need to handle both input and output effectively. Input refers to understanding and internalizing what you've studied, while output involves recalling and applying what you've learned. Watching YouTube videos, understanding and following along are input activities. Trying to recreate what you've learned without watching the videos or using any help is an output activity. The reason I emphasized effectively is as follows. If you study randomly, without any structure, it takes longer and becomes inefficient. Yes, that's true, but it's not just about these small-scale reasons. We live in an era where new technologies emerge every single day, and the pace is only accelerating. For example, Photoshop's dominance seemed eternal, but at some point, Figma took over. There's no guarantee Figma's reign will last forever. Nobody knows which tool will become the next big thing. This isn't just about graphic tools. Modern designers find it useful to learn various AI tools in addition to graphic tools. While learning every additional tool isn't mandatory, designers who can effectively use other tools will undoubtedly produce more diverse, polished, and faster results compared to those who can't. One thing is certain, we're now living in an era where lifelong learning is essential. But don't stress too much about it. Humans are adaptable. It may or may not be comforting, but we'll all adjust quickly. Personally, I enjoy studying, so for someone like me, this era feels exciting and full of possibilities. The main point is that as someone living in this fast-changing world, you need to understand how to acquire new knowledge quickly and effectively. I'll cover the study method in detail in a separate video. For now, let's start with a brief introduction to effective ways to study Figma. Paint versus Figma. Figma can be considered a highly upgraded version of Paint. Let's compare Paint and Figma. In Paint, you'll notice that features like shapes and the color palette are all located at the top. Now let's take a look at Figma. On the Figma interface, the areas on the left and right are called the left panel and the right panel, respectively. Most of Figma's features are located in the right panel and the bottom area. The features and their locations are different from Paint. And of course, Figma has many advanced features that Paint doesn't have. Among them are features called layers and assets, which are located in the left panel. I'll explain what these features mean later, so you don't need to know for now. There's also a common part between Paint and Figma. The working area in the center of the screen is called the canvas, and this area is similar in both location and appearance. It's positioned broadly in the middle of the screen. This course is designed specifically for non-designers and those who have never used Figma or Photoshop before. In future videos, I'll also be explaining content aimed at complete beginners. What to study first in Figma. When learning English, you need to memorize the alphabet first. It's the same with Figma. There are some things you need to memorize first. 1. Memorize design tool shortcuts. Start by memorizing the shortcuts for frequently used design tools located at the bottom of the Figma screen. 2. Memorize right panel functions. For more detailed design work, the design tools alone aren't enough. Detailed adjustments can be made in the right panel. Memorize the shortcuts for frequently used functions in the right panel and their approximate locations. You don't need to memorize the exact positions, just whether they're near the top, middle, or bottom is enough. If I had to choose the most important area in Figma, it would be this right side panel. So please focus on studying this part carefully. After that, start practicing in earnest. If you memorize just these things first and then move on to practice, I guarantee that your ability to use Figma will improve much faster compared to the usual learning methods. Earlier, I mentioned memorizing frequently used tools. I'll organize them into an Excel file and share it with you. I'm still working on it. Once it's ready, I'll announce it on my YouTube channel.